You're listening to the Hella Well with Danielle show, a podcast taking women of color on a journey exploring all things wellness and travel related. We're all about showing you how to put on your oxygen mask first and creating lasting self-care habits that will free you to travel the world and live the life you truly desire, and not one you have to fake loving. I'm your host, Danielle Washington. Now let's buckle up and start this journey. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Hella Well with Danielle podcast. I am your host, Danielle Washington, and I wanted to this week piggyback on last week's episode. If you missed last week's episode, I hella recommend that you go and listen to that one probably first. You don't have to, but it may help you. And we were talking about the power of our words and the intentions behind our words, and how when you're not intentional about your words, it can really mess up your life subconsciously, and you're not even realizing it. You're like, you're trying to manifest these things and wondering why they aren't coming out, or these other things are happening. It's because your words are setting you up for failure. So I wanted to kind of piggyback, especially this week. It's the Lion's Gate, August 8th. It's the new moon in Leo, all happening at the same time. So it's a powerful time to really be intentional about how you're showing up and what are you doing. Our spiritual practices, our relationships, the work that we do in the world are only as healing as the energy and quality we put into it. That good old school ain't no half stepping, try to get my little dance on, by Big Daddy King. But the reason I bring up that song is if you're half stepping or half assing your spiritual practice, your wellness practice, your self-care practice, your relationships, not with other people, but your relationship with yourself, especially the relationship with yourself, which is the most important relationship you could ever have. If you ain't putting the full energy into it, if you ain't putting the full quality into it, it's like using, I was about to shout out some products, but I was like, it's like using the generic of the generic of the generic you bought at the dollar store of, this high brand thing. When you ain't using the good quality products, if you're not using the good quality energy, if you're not putting quality into your self-care, into your relationships and how you're showing up, it affects everything that you're doing. So you got to ask yourself, do I act from a place of kindness, of gratitude, of honesty, of mindfulness? Am I in alignment for what I'm trying to do in this world? And so what I wanted to talk about today is something that's played a big role in my life, and that's Reiki. And it's kind of crazy that I haven't been talking about Reiki because it is such a huge aspect of my life. And I was thinking about it, or let me rephrase that. I had a friend kind of check me on it. It was like, girl, why you this Reiki master, you doing all these things and you helping all these people, but you ain't ever talking about it on your podcast. I'm like, yeah, you right, girl, you right. So today I was like, I'm going to talk about Reiki and how it's played a role in my life and how it's setting me up to be a better person, not just through the practice, but through kind of the intentions behind Reiki. But if you're new to Reiki, you're like, what is this Reiki she talking of? Like, what is this that she talking of? So Reiki is a Japanese form of energy healing and stress reduction. The best way I can describe it is think about it. Okay, so I'm in my living room right now. Think if I had all these clothes in the living room, like all over the place. They're all unfolded. They're just a hot hashtag of a mess. What Reiki is this energy that comes in and pulls everything nice and neat and puts it away. And that, like, our clothes are our energy. And our energy, Reiki basically helps clear up their energy, any blocks or any low energy. And it helps kind of makes you feel better. So think about it. If you are, if your energy is low or becomes a block, those things can cause physical, mental, and emotional issues to occur. So when you think you're like, oh, I have this, pain in my back, like this knot, I just need to take some Advil or whatever. Most likely that's some form of energy that is showing up in emotion in your body that is blocked or low, whatever. And what Reiki does is it comes in and helps clear up those energy and those blocks to help you reduce stress. Research has been done in so many different ways of how it can help you in so many different ways. It can add clarity to you. And the way I look at it, I probably should, well, I don't know. I get a little weird saying this, but I'm like, you really think about it, the most well-known Reiki healer is Jesus. He did his hands-on healing, and it is hands-on, and you can do it remotely as well. It's not something that has to be happening, where you have to be right in front of someone. I do Reiki. I could be here in San Francisco, and you could be in, I don't know, Idaho. I don't know anyone in Idaho, but you could be in Idaho, and I can give Reiki. But it has been such a huge part of my life, and as I continue to attune to different Reiki energy and just growing in who I am as a person, I was doing Reiki, having a blast with it. And then, through this last session of going from a certified Reiki master to a Karuna certified Reiki master, I started paying attention a little bit more into the intentions behind Reiki. And literally looking at what they're called the 5 Reiki precepts, and these kind of, the precepts are these code of conduct, kind of like, affirmations, intentions, mantras, or like the yamas or niyamas in the yoga system. That it really is kind of a way of life, because the reality of it all, you can't always be doing Reiki. Like you can't, like in most of the things you do, like you can't always be meditating 24/7. You can't always be, well, I guess you could be meditating and praying, but like all these different things, you can't always do it all the time of every hour of the day. And it's good to have, and I think that's what was behind when Dr. Sui created Reiki. He created these precepts to also help us embody what the thought and the mentality behind Reiki. And so that's one thing I love about doing these Reiki precepts. And so these are like these 5 phrases in Japanese, which I kind of love that they're in Japanese, and they're called the kotodamas, which I talked about in last week's podcast episode. And so the kotodamas, which is koto means word, dama means spirit, so the spirit of the words. And when I found myself saying these words in Japanese, like I would feel better. Like I just felt better. Like I could feel the energy. I just felt something like kind of, I want to say magically, I don't know, magically, spiritually, whatever. I just felt different. I felt energetically, I felt the energy of the words and the spirit of the words. And when I was translating the words into English, it just kind of opened up another way for me to practice being a better person, practice being mindful. And they're just really a reminder that the most spiritual act isn't meditation or prayer, but it's how we think. It's how we use our words. It's how we act in between these spiritual practices that we do. And that's one thing I love about the Reiki precepts. It helps you really focus in on how are you thinking? How are you using your words? And how are you acting in between, these spiritual acts? And it really goes back to the quality and the energy you put behind these things you're trying to do. So I wanted to share the 5 Reiki precepts with you guys today, not because, oh my God, you need to join, you need to get into Reiki and woo, woo, woo. No, I love Reiki. I would love to share it with people. I love giving Reiki to people. I just like having people heal. And it's something that personally I want to see be popular, just as popular as acupuncture. My dream is to have some little, black or brown kid fall. Not that I want a kid to fall, but like I want him to fall, and like this kid comes next to him, like, oh, I got you. Let me do Reiki on you. Because it's energy healing that we can do anywhere. You don't need any props. You don't need to be rich, whatever. And so I love that about it. But whether you practice Reiki or not, these precepts are really simple teachings that can guide you for your day to day. So I wanted to kind of go through what they were and how to use them, and like the benefits behind it. So let's go through the Reiki precepts. So I'm going to say it in Japanese first, and then I'm going to switch it into English. So it starts with kodakiwa, which is just for today. Ikarana, I will not be angry. Shimpai tsuna, I will not worry. Kansha shite, I will be grateful. Go hagime, I will be honest in my work. Hito ni shinsetsu ni, be kind and compassionate to yourself and others. So in English, Just for today, I will not be angry. I will not worry. I will be grateful. I'll be honest in my work. I will be kind and compassionate. Think about those words. Just for today. Just for today. I will not be angry. And like you're literally saying a mantra of, I will not be angry. Yo, I ain't gonna worry about squat. All the drama that's going on, just for today, I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm not going to be angry about it either. I'm going to be hella grateful. I'm going to be grateful for everything I have in my life, and I'm going to look for things to be grateful for. I'm going to be honest in my work and how I show up in this world. I'm going to be kind to myself. I say this constantly. The most important relationship is the relationship we have in ourselves. So I'm going to be kind to myself. I'm going to be compassionate to myself. But I'm also going to be kind and compassionate to others too. And I love that. But I also love just hearing the words in Japanese. Kodaki wa ii na shinpai suna kansha shite go hagime hito ni shinsetsu ni. And it reminds me when I used to speak Japanese. I so don't anymore. But like there was something so powerful about the words and saying it, but it wasn't to this level. And I think when you don't know what everything you're saying means, I think especially in another language, it doesn't have the same sense to it. Like just like when I say certain things in Italian, I'm like, feel the words. Like I say cazzo all the time, but you can look up what that means. I'm not going to say what it means. But if anyone knows me, I say that word constantly. But so how can you use these precepts, and how can you use these 5 kind of ways of living? So the way I would describe them is, you can recite them in meditation, say them over and over. So first thing I do in the morning, because I do practice Reiki, I go in gasho, which is kind of this prayer position, and I'll like kind of ground myself, and then I'll say the words in the 5 Reiki precepts. I'll say them like 3 or 4 times, if not, sometimes even more, but at least 3 times. And then I sit and I just wait. And like, it's like, literally, it's like, I feel like I've like activated some kind of powerful thing, because I start feeling it in my crown chakra. I start feeling it through my body, and I just start feeling the energy behind those words. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll say one of them and then just sit with it. I'll say in English, in Japanese in my head, and just kind of sit and let it resonate with me and contemplate the meaning. I also use these to ground. I find them really helpful to ground my energy, especially in the morning, and to align with higher frequencies. And I like to incorporate them into my day-to-day life. So how can you guys use them? Great question. I'm sure you just asked me that. Hopefully you did. So let's start with the first one. Just for today. Kodaki wa. Just for today. When I think about the phrase just for today, I could be my authentic self. Just for today, I can bring joy. Like we always are I can say me personally, and talk from my personal experience. I'm always going. And I really need to focus on quieting my mind, quieting my senses, and all these different things. So just for today, I'm going to be joyful. I'm going to be playful. Just for today, I'm going to be my authentic self. Just for today, I'm going to stop trying to fit in and try to be what people want or need me to be or should be. And I hate using the word should, but I probably shouldn't have said that. Just said should again. Just for today reminds me of each day is like, each day you can push the reset button. Every day is a new day to begin. It reminds me of that phrase, be here, be now. And being present in the moment. Just for today, just be here. It also reminds me of just for today. Okay, it's one day. What can I do? I'm like, a lot of times when we're trying to set goals and we're like trying to, especially like New Year's resolutions or all these other different things and intentions, we're like, oh, I need to make X amount of dollars. Oh, I need to, I want to buy a house. I want to, meet a man and get married, and I want to travel the world, and I want to have, a litter of kittens. I don't know why I said that one, but whatever. But it's all these different things. But when you say just for today, it narrows the situation down to just 24 hours, which makes it feel bite-sizable. It makes it seem like, we talked about in a previous podcast episode, tiny habits. It's what can I do in one day? I could do a lot in just one day. Now, when I start thinking about, can I do this for a week? When I was trying to do the detox, I'm like, I could do a detox for a day. Can I do it for 28 days? My body said, heck no, girl, that ain't what you're doing. But just for today, I could detox. Just for today, I can focus in on smiling. Just for today, I can practice being mindful of how I speak to myself and speak to others. Just for today, I can I can, whatever. I can eat all vegan food. I can eat all raw diet. Just for today, for me, the kodakiwa, it just means just that. It's a day. And so it kind of gives me this feeling of, it empowers me that just for one day, I can do a lot. The next one is, I will not anger. So it is, ikaruna. I will not angry. And let's be real. This whole thing, I will not angry, I will not worry. The Reiki precepts aren't telling you, oh, girl, you can't ever be angry. You can't ever worry. They aren't this like cult-like kind of way of living. Like if you don't do this, you're going to fail. You're going to die. You've just failed. It's not that. It's not that at all. It's more of a guide of how to go about living. And it's a guide to be like, okay, checking in with yourself to see, am I doing this way? Okay, push reset, just for today, reset and start all over. And so one thing I think about when I think about the I will not angry, I think about, how can I release anger feelings? How can I recognize when I'm angry? What are my triggers? And I'm really focusing in kind of on what is making me angry. How can I release it? And how can I show up in a different way? So when I think about I will not anger, it's a reminder of, okay, I'm telling myself today, we gonna keep it kind of solid. How can I ground myself a little bit better to be in a better space? How can I be here, be now, so I'm not angry? How can I not focus in on the past or the present and the past or, the future that's making me angry? Like they did this to me and I'm holding on to this. How can I let go of grudges? And so that's what I think about when I think about the I will not angry, but I will not be angry. The next one is I will not worry, which is shimpai suna. Again, Japanese, not the best. But I will not worry. And that's a huge one for me. I feel like when you say, I will not worry, again, it goes back to, it's not saying you can never worry, but it's saying to yourself, and it's like kind of making a small promise to yourself, like, sis, you got this. It's a reminder that, like, you ain't got to worry about things. The universe got you. Your ancestors got you. You have you. Everything that you need is within you. Don't worry. You're manifesting. And if you're being intentional about your words, like we talked about last week, you're manifesting in a positive way. Abundance is around me. Don't worry. I love the word, I will not worry. It helps me. And said, one of the things I do with this one especially is I find that we often are thinking about all the things that we do wrong, all the things are wrong in our life. Oh man, I wish I had more money. I wish I had better sex. I wish, my plants would stop dying. And that's a real one. I wish my plants would totally stop dying on me. Like, I wish it was sunnier. I wish I had a warm beach near to me. Like, all these things that are not working out. Like, I'm not the best, maker of rice, which is really odd because I really could cook, but can't cook rice. Which is, I don't understand why that's the case, but it is the case. But what I like to focus on instead is what's right. What's right? Because we always focus on what's wrong. So instead of focusing on what's wrong, I focus on what's right in my life. So when I think about I will not worry, I'm like, okay, what's right in my life? What's right in my life is that I have a closet full of clothes that make me happy because they're bright colors, because I changed it. What's right is that I have set a place up that feels comfortable for me. What's right for me? I have been setting boundaries what's right for me. I have been letting go of relationships that no longer serve me and saying goodbye with love. And I'm calling in people who fill me up on both sides of the lanes. What's right in my life is that I'm grateful. What's right in my life is that I'm healthy. And when you focus more on what's going right in your life versus what's going wrong, you'll notice how it changes you. You'll notice how you mentally feel different. You'll notice how you physically feel different. Your body just shows up differently. Your mindset shows up differently. You will be different in how you show up in your relationships when you focus on what's right versus constantly focusing on what's wrong. And that's what I think about when I think about I will not worry. Shinpai suna. I will not worry. I will not worry. Ain't gotta worry in my world. The next one is I will be grateful. I will grateful. If you've been rocking with me for a bit, you know that I listen to Lundrell's Gratitude on Spotify every morning. It's how I start my day. Start my day with listening to him and him talking about gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude, and gratitude is the attitude. And so how do I practice, how do I, embody I will be grateful? By practicing gratitude. I listen to that song every morning, having a gratitude journal, writing down, 3 things in the morning or in the evening that you're grateful for. I think it's a huge way to bring gratitude into your life. And it's like kind of what I'm saying about, when you focus on what's right in your life, when you're focusing on being grateful, you just feel different. It's like something just changes. It's like a little shift that goes on, and it's a beautiful, powerful thing. So, I mean, there's so many different things you can do for gratitude and gratefulness, and I'm sure you can Google all that stuff. But that's how I think about, the phrase, I will be grateful. Kanshashite. I like saying that. Kanshashite. Kanshashite. I will be grateful. And the next one is be honest in your work. And that's go hagime. Go hagime. Be honest with your work. And when the way I describe, or I kind of interpret this one, it's not just being, don't be robbing people and, don't lie and whatever. I think about this as being honest with yourself. Be honest with you. Like, are you keeping your promises to yourself? And if you're not, be honest about why. Why aren't you keeping the promise to yourself? And, also, are you being honest with other people in the sense, are you keeping your promises to other people? But I really want you to focus this, especially this weekend with this portal coming up, or the portal opening up today, is being honest with yourself. And if you, and are you keeping your promises, and why aren't you keeping your promises? Also, check in with yourself. Notice, how do I feel? How am I feeling? How are you feeling today? When you're listening to this right this second, and this moment, how are you feeling? Are your thoughts and actions in alignment? Are you straying away from, these Reiki precepts? And if you are, dude, give yourself grace and some compassion and push the reset button. Remember, just for today. There's always a reset button, even if it's not even just for today. Just like if you notice something's going on in your life, reset now. Reset again. And I do that in my meditation practice. Like, I'll start doing my meditation. I'd be all zen, like, I'm zen. And then I'm like, ooh, I want some pizza. Oh, girl, I wonder if anyone liked my post on Instagram. And I have to reset and start again. And it's okay to reset and start again and give yourself grace. And so I love that aspect of, when I talk about being honest, it's not just about being truthful with your work and kind of living in integrity, but it's also about being your authentic self. Unapologetically. Being honest is being authentically you. And giving yourself grace is about being also authentic as well. To know that you are perfectly imperfect because, honey, you're human. So we're all imperfectly perfect. Perfectly imperfect. Perfectly imperfect. That's what I meant to say. So yeah, when I think about the be honest in your work, go hagime. It is really about being authentic with yourself and being honest with yourself. And then the last one is be kind and compassionate to yourself and others. Hito ni shinsetsu ni. Be kind and compassionate to yourself and others. And that seems pretty basic and easy to understand, but if you need more help, it's like allow yourself to call in more gratitude, kindness, honesty, all with ease. Just, allow yourself to feel love. Allow yourself to be, I was talking about before, be compassionate with yourself. Remember that, you're not perfect. You're not ever going to be perfect. And it's okay. It's okay to have a day where you're like, I need a break. It's okay to be like, I'm not okay. And have compassion for yourself that you don't always have to have all the answers. You don't have to always be on. You can say no compassionately with love, and that's loving to yourself. Hito ni shinsetsu ni. I could say no because that's what I need to be kind to myself. I don't have to be there for everyone who needs to, who I feel like I should be there for when I need to be kind to myself. And being grateful. And so there's so many different ways we could be kind and compassionate to others and ourselves, but that was the kind of the way I use the Reiki Precepts. And so the way I think about all this stuff is this is a daily practice. It's a daily practice of exercising that mindfulness muscles. It's the building the muscles to release anger and worry. It's building the muscles of gratitude. It's building the muscles of compassion and grace for others and ourselves, and living in the present. And again, my Reiki practice has been such a huge part of my life, and it's been a beautiful healing practice, and it's added to the quality of my healing practice and my wellness and living hella well. But when I started adding in these 5 Reiki precepts, that was like, if you go to like Jamba Juice and you add like a little boost, it was like the boost in my Jamba. And it's just been, I've seen the difference in my life. And so that's why every single day I say these, every single night I like to say it. If I'm having a moment, sometimes in the middle of the day, I'll just stop and just start saying them. I'll just start and be like, just for today, I will not be angry. I will not worry. I will be grateful. I will work honestly. I will be kind and compassionate to myself and to others. Just for today. So just for today, try it. See how it works. Listen, when you listen to this, just for today, say the 5 Reiki precepts. I'll make sure to put them in the show notes so you can have them written down. But just for today, try to embody these 5 concepts. Again, you don't have to practice Reiki to do it. You don't have to be attuned of any sort to do this. It's just another way to be intentional about how you're showing up in your life and making sure that you're focusing in not just on I'm doing, acupuncture. I got a life coach, I'm doing the basics, It's not about just what you're doing. Your healing also matters about the energy and quality that you put into it. So I want you to put in some quality and some energy into your healing so you can get to where you want to be. This is the time. This is the time. Now is the time. Today of all days, if you ain't gonna do nothing else, take care of you today. Today is such a powerful day, and I wanted to send you with love. So I'm wearing my yellow so I can have my Oshun experience, my feeling. I want you to know that you have so much power in how you go about doing things, but you have to be intentional about how you think, the words you use, and how you act on a day-to-day basis. And it's a muscle that you need to build every single day with compassion. Other than that, I love y'all, and I will see you guys next week. Ciao. Thanks for joining us this week on the Hello Well with Danielle show. Make sure to visit our website, hellowellwithdanielle.com, where you can subscribe to our show on iTunes, Spotify, and Amazon Music and never miss an episode. Also, you can follow us on social media at Hello Well with Danielle on Facebook and Instagram, and Hello Well Danny on Twitter. And if you like hella love the show and got some good nuggets out of it, know that I'm not too proud to ask for you to please leave a rating or review on iTunes so that we can continue to expand our reach and help other women of color. Again, thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you next week. Ciao.